Alright, now, from the video that I made before about the whole Onision thing, we're going to temporarily put that aside. We're going to put that onto a hold for right now until anything new comes up. But there's something a lot more bigger from what's going on here. I've heard on the recent amounts of posts on Facebook and the videos about the certain responses. Well, there's no such thing as the video response anymore, which is still one of the fuck ups I wanted to point out about it. But this video is going to be a little bit more like a part two from the video I made in the garage about, YouTube's fuck ups and all that. So this is kind of considered a part two of it. Now, I've watched Angry Joe show, his when he does his reviews over certain topics of movies or any types of game reviews or anything like that, which actually extends to them out. I also did see the recent one, not really recent, but it was more of the critique he did with Nostalgia Critic over Man of Steel, which I will get into my own personal opinion on Man of Steel. But the thing about what's going on here is that apart from YouTube's certain fuck ups, which I do actually have a list of, by the way, which is right here. There's a lot more I can also point out too. But the thing about it which really just concerns me is about reviews. I have no problem with reviews. I love people who do reviews. In fact, I think that's actually one of the main processes of how YouTube can be fun for people to watch the content that you create. And also, there's also a little bit more things about it too, where it comes to commentating, ranting. Of course, I can understand maybe Angry Joe Show does not really is not a huge fan of ranting, which I can understand. But what else? There's cosplaying. I mean, that could play a certain part of a role in it. Making your own type of movies, but anyway, I'm getting off course here from what I'm talking about. The problem with what's going on here is what something is called, for reviewing or content claim IDs, which is not even being reviewed by actual human beings, which is a robot system which reviews the whole content ID, and basically these random companies, from what I can see, what was pointed out in certain clips of what I've seen in other people's videos, saying that these certain companies and people, which it's kind of odd to me because, isn't certain companies owned, isn't certain trademarks owned by the company themselves? It's odd. I really don't see how this has any certain escalation, which, okay, let me just straighten out what I'm trying to say is, I think what I'm seeing is a complete false or a false predicament of how YouTube / Google is saying that they're running their system according to what they feel is actually correct, when in fact it's not correct. It's complete. It's in disarray. It's complete, covered in bullshit. I could almost say literally, because the only thing that they really care about is not the people's opinion. I pointed that out before. They don't care about people who actually get angry about something, and they try their very best to do something. Now, I will say from the beginning, I'd never considered YouTube as work. I considered it more of a privilege, but I have a change of stat on it. Now, this is the best example that I'm working on. Angry Joe Show's already made this clear and possible. They do not care about the opinions. They do not care about what people feel. All they care about is money. I don't have any dollar bills, but, this is close enough. They only care about this. Cha-ching. They don't listen to people. They listen to their own money, because money is what's talking to them. Symbolism for they don't care. As long as they're making that money, they will do whatever the hell they want. They don't give a shit about what we think, no matter how hard we try to send our efforts through. But one thing that's really kind of just baffling my mind is that Google / YouTube can get away with a lot of things, but yet some things can be returned. But yet something is more completely bullshit is content ID claims. Now, if some of you who watch my actual YouTube channel, from Thrashman Guru or the Metallica Guru, whichever those could be, if you remember the videos that I made when Undertaker Freak 1127 was actually falsely flagged under the bullshit claims of impersonation part of that, whoever the false flagger was, I really don't give a shit. But it doesn't just involve the false flagger, it also involves the system of YouTube as well, because the humans of the people or the employees who work at the direct company of YouTube/Google do not do what they're supposed to do. It's supposed to be automated by machines or what the fuck it is. I mean, they don't fucking care. Whoever runs this part of the section is basically trimming down the good parts of YouTube, which people do not like, especially from all this, which I will get here into in a minute. The thing about it was, when Undertaker Freak 1127 came back, it was the petition that a lot of people signed, and once it went over that amount, it sent an email to Google. So if Google could read that email and reinstate, or depending if it was Happy Cabby or if it was the entire collective system who sent the message to YouTube, I mean, either way, there had to have been some way for him to come back. Otherwise, I mean, he wouldn't be brought back if it was the doings of the flagger and Google's robotic system. If that email was sent over from that petition or from one of those users who sent an email to that place of the company, wouldn't it be possible if we could get Google's shit together? Would it be possible? I mean, hell, the odds were stacked against us when that scenario occurred, when Undertaker Freak was, almost believably kicked out almost for good, but everyone pitched in support, everyone circulated the petition. Now, a lot of people also did say that it was impossible. It was impossible, or that it was highly unlikely that he would ever come back. And how does this make a connection with content ID claims? Here's the thing. If it is possible, if you can get one person back after a bullshit claim being flagged, is it possible? An example, if we could help Angry Joe Show out, redeem those 62 to 67 videos, if I'm correct, get the flags off of there. Remove the flags, or actually correct the mistakes that were flagged against Angry Joe. And this doesn't just apply to him, this applies to other critics or reviewers. What about Nostalgia Critic? What about Nostalgia Chick? What about, I'm not really a fan of this guy, Linkara, even though, but that doesn't really matter. This should be more of a collective system of people who either like or do not like. I think we all need to come together to this point. I mean, if we did the same thing for Undertaker Freak 1127, whether we liked or disliked him, couldn't we just do the same thing together? I think that is what draws the basis of how YouTube/Google can see from it. They always want to shove their stuff in our faces. Why don't we just say, you know what, enough is fucking enough? Because it doesn't just affect the reviewers, it affects every one of us as well, because now we're getting lowered down to a point where we can't do what we want to do. It's like any moment now, apart from all this shit, we will only be stuck with one thing. And yes, what if that one thing was just ranting in front of the camera? I love doing what I do. I love to say my message like this, but I also want to expand a little bit more of my content when I get my chance, when it comes to be my time to do so. But I don't want to be limited down to something that could be just only one thing that you could do on YouTube, and that's rant. No. I like to do a review over something. I want to. I haven't even done it yet, but I want to. Because I have partially a future plan for this channel to actually go a little bit more. Maybe I also want to do, a top 10 thing. Maybe I want to do an online Let's Play. What if I want to do any of those? And it can't happen. As much as I would like to be angry, I'm just going to keep that anger built inside me until the right time comes. But the thing about what's really, I'm just trying to think about it, is that, and also what Angry Joe has already pointed out, SOPA, and all these little butthurt assholes try to, throw the bills to Congress's way until they push that. It's given me the idea for something. If they could pressure Congress or pressure Google or YouTube to do the things that they want them to do, why don't we just pressure Google back saying, you know what, those guys wouldn't be in their spot if it weren't for fucking us. It wouldn't be for us. You wouldn't have the fucking money. You wouldn't have your fucking little systems running. Because you know what? YouTube back then was just a regular site, nothing much to it. It didn't become this multi-billionaire company or whatever it was. It was just a regular site. I have an idea but I'm not going to push that idea until my next video, which is going to be after this one. I know, I know, I know. What I'm about to say is this exact same thing that I would say before, that the idea of it does not work. Because there's petitions that have been placed out to fix these problems with the Content ID claims. As much as I actually had a different point of view from how reviewers or gamers, and when I thought it wasn't a job, it was more like a privilege, I kind of cut back on that idea because if that sort of thing, if you make money off of something and you actually, you don't get any rest for something, I mean, yes, that could be different. Okay, I can understand. I can see that. So I think it's just completely bullshitting of this to just occur. So the idea that I'm actually going to be pushing for and striving for, I'm going to be talking with a lot of people. I'm going to be talking with people I know. I'm going to try to see if I can reach out to these other YouTubers and see if we could actually do something like we did before when we got Undertaker Freak 1127's channel back. Collectively, not individually, so nobody takes sole responsibility. You know who you are. So what I'm saying is, when that time is right, which probably in about a couple hours, depending, give or take, I will come back onto my next upcoming video and try to propose an idea. I will talk to whoever I can talk to, see if we can come to an agreement on it, take a vote on it, because I think the first thing that's first is to explain the idea. I mean, after watching Angry Joe's videos, I figured, why not help him out? I mean, why not help not only him out, but why not help everyone else out? Even if I like or dislike a certain person's video or their channel or them personally or them, as a content person, that does not mean that I'm going to celebrate because they are gone, because the the collective Content ID system is. And don't get me wrong, I'm actually a good fan. I mean, I just subscribed to Angry Joe show, so he's good. And don't get me wrong, I also I like Nostalgia Creep too. But the main premise of this is that I will try to see if we can all collectively work together on this, despite maybe how in vain it may be. But I do think if we don't do something now, this could affect not only thousands, not only 100,000s, but maybe the millions who have been on this site before. It could affect the way that they want to do things with their own channel, especially from what content that you make. No one should be limited down. It seems like YouTube is becoming more communistic than it is in the ways of what you could call capitalism. This is what I call cyber communism. That everyone has to be limited down to the same exact thing. No one wants to do the exact same thing as everyone else does. It's like saying no matter how hard you try, it's not going to be what you want. According to us, example YouTube, according to YouTube or / Google, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you make an effort within your videos, you still got to do the same thing as this person right here, and you're just going to be exactly how they are. That, to me, is fucking communistic, or that's communism in a fucking nutshell. Like I said, before I end this off, I will talk to people. I will do whatever it is that I can do because I want to help. I want to be a person who could say, fuck Google's bullshit. Fuck them up their greedy asses. Stay tuned.